Tonight, 5 months since the introduction of Port Augusta's outreach program, authorities say it's working. And thinking outside the box, Port Lincoln students look to the future at a travelling careers expo.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The state government says Port Augusta's outreach program is working, pointing to a reduction in violent incidents. Hundreds of people have been returned to country to await available housing, some back to Alice Springs, where the violence is only getting worse.
Almost 5 months since the outreach program was launched in Port Augusta, the state government says it's working.
There's a lot more to be done in Port Augusta, and that will take an ongoing collaborative effort, and it will take resources. We're engaging with the federal government to see if we can bring in more resources.
The latest figures show more than 300 people have been returned to country, including over 50 minors. Member for Giles, Eddie Hughes, argues the SA Voice to Parliament will assist in improving Aboriginal leadership in Port Augusta and help drive down the antisocial crisis.
We cannot rest our way out of these situations. There needs to be a medium to longer term involvement and collaboration, and there needs to be Aboriginal leadership as part of that process to address the crime and the antisocial behaviour.
While new data suggests alcohol-related presentations to Alice Springs Hospital have nearly halved since the alcohol bans were reinstated, the Red Centre is still seeing an increase in violence, including mass vandalism, break-ins and car arson.
We've caught perpetrators on our cameras. The police have arrested them and gone to the courts, and we had one lot let off because they weren't wearing masks or gloves, so therefore they had no criminal intent.
But like in Port Augusta, there's hope for the future.
We're holding up okay. It's just this is just a phase we'll go through, and hopefully we'll get to come out the other side.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A random roadside breath test has ended with a Port Pirie man losing his licence for 6 months. Officers pulled over the 43-year-old driver in the early hours of this morning. Police will allege he returned a positive blood alcohol test, the result coming back more than twice the legal limit. He was then tested for drugs, which also allegedly came back positive to cannabis. His car has been impounded for 28 days and is due to front Port Pirie Court at a later date. Lodestone Mines is helping out a Broken Hill school with archiving its history by donating a scanner. Robert Williamson was on hand to present the new equipment to staff that will make the time-consuming task a bit easier.
Preserving Broken Hill High School's long-storied history. A former student, Robert Williamson, happy to help the school out.
We've been working with Margaret for some time now, and we felt it would be a good thing to support the work that she's doing and provide her with a good professional scanner.
Mr. Williamson hyper aware of the importance of the work that is being carried out so that future generations can read the stories of the hallowed walls.
The things that have happened in this high school, the people that have come out of this high school, the history and how far back it goes is incredible.
He is also proud of his time at the school.
I have obviously I benefit from that education, and so I'm sort of proof that it's been a good school.
Margaret Burrows ecstatic that the new equipment will make the job easier.
Oh, absolutely, because we just haven't got the time really to do it from the front office. Like the Laura in the front office, she's just the school's a busy place.
If anyone has anything they would like to donate for the archives or would like to help out, contact Broken Hill High School. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Providing access to role models, resources and support, Educational Roadshow Making Her Mark landed in Port Lincoln today. Run by Business in Schools, the statewide program is encouraging young women to explore non-traditional occupations and industries.
Girls and women were encouraged to be brave today, with keynote speaker Claire Webber saying feminism isn't about finding the strength within you, because it's already there. It's about making the rest of the world see it.
We've actually brought together local women who can share their stories about working and their careers in non-traditional industries.
Darlene says they set good examples.
It's about being authentic, it's about challenging myths in non-traditional industry sectors.
None of the speakers had a straightforward story, which made them all the more inspiring. One couldn't go to university like she'd planned, one had to move away from everything she knew, and another was told she couldn't enter a field of work because she's too small.
As we discovered today, not all our journeys are linear. They're all backwards, forwards, sideways, so no career choice is a bad choice. So it's about making the best of the opportunities available.
The 110 students in attendance today left feeling empowered and supported.
Most of the women here today do not look like they would work in a non-traditional industry, and I think that's important as well, so that young girls they can see themselves in those roles as well, which is really important.
The number one piece of advice today was to take a leap of faith.
To fail is to try something new, so don't be frightened of it.
Pick something that you enjoy, because it's going to be a hell of a long life if you stick at something you don't like.
It doesn't matter where you go or who you're working with. Don't lose sight of who you are.
Put yourself out there. You're not sure what's going to happen, but amazing things can happen from trying.
Don't let anyone think you can't do it. You're going to be good at something. You just got to find what you're good at, that's all.
Alison Hall, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, Port Pirie locals voice their concerns about the water levels and bird life at Nelshabury Reservoir. And star jumping their way into the tournament. Far West kids try out for the upcoming Nations of Origin. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News this Friday. Last night, passionate Napperby locals attended a site walk around and public information session regarding Nelshabury Reservoir and Laurie Park. Both sites have a rich history, but their futures are in question.
These natural beauties hold a special place in locals' hearts, and Council is taking their knowledge and opinions into account.
It's been quite overwhelming, the passion in the community of the residents that live in the area, and they've certainly seen how the site changes throughout the seasons, throughout wet seasons, throughout a dry winter, and how that affects bird life and the local fauna.
Locals attended a tour of the sites, where they could talk about specific areas and later voice their opinions at Napperby Hall by writing their short, medium and long-term goals.
Potential for Laurie Park to be a trailhead. Nelshabury Reservoir is nicely placed as it provides a link between Laurie Park and the National Park. So we are looking at the opportunities of how we can improve the area.
A theme that comes up again and again is the water levels and bird life at Nelshabury Reservoir. Locals hope this is addressed in the master plan, as well as future plans for the area.
As you know, with the Southern Flinders Ranges coming online, we're a perfect step off in Port Pirie to do this.
Consultants and directors will begin work on the master plan, and they have plenty of exciting ideas.
Lends itself to the ecotourism, the walking trails, the mountain biking, some good accommodation concepts. So it does, the timing is right.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Things have been getting busy at the Broken Hill PCYC, recently holding tryouts for this year's Nations of Origin. With a squad now decided, the team will be heading to Sydney to represent Broken Hill.
With tryouts going well, staff are excited about taking the kids over to the big city. Coinciding with NAIDOC Week, the Nations of Origin event sees 1,400 Indigenous and non-Indigenous young people from across the state represent their Aboriginal nation in a multitude of sports. The Far West representatives have been chosen to play two of the most popular ball sports.
They were really good. We have about 5 boys for basketball and 5 girls that are going to do netball and basketball.
With this year's tournament taking place in Penrith, the quickest way to get there is by plane. But that's not happening this year, organisers instead opting for a 12-hour bus ride.
So this year, like last year, we were able to fly the participants 4 nations. However, this year we're going to be busing them, so it's a long trip.
Rugby league is one of the featured sports at the Nations. However, Broken Hill won't be taking any participants over for that.
I did put the feelers out for rugby because I really wanted to take them. We just didn't have enough to fill the teams.
While Nations might be some time away, something that is happening a bit sooner is the Star Jump Challenge.
So the last day is the 1st of April. That's our actual Star Jump day. So yeah, we may be star jumping everywhere on the 1st of April, but it has started.
Some of the staff will be away in Goulburn this week, meaning you may have to keep an eye on the Facebook page to see the challenge play out.
Yeah, it will. So last year I did put all of our star jumps on Facebook, made a bit of a compilation out of it. So this year we'll probably do something similar, but yeah, it won't be local, it'll be in Goulburn.
The Nations of Origin kicks off on July 11, running through until the 14th. Joshua Mercer, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Perseverance and resilience. Meet the Spencer Gulf girl giving back even after a rough start to life. And Formula One star Daniel Ricciardo takes to the outback in a promo shoot for the upcoming Grand Prix. Welcome back. A Jamestown family has spent more than their fair share of time in hospital with their young daughter, undergoing 2 major surgeries. This tough start to life encouraged little Emily to share her creative flair and make others smile.
Now 5 years old, Emily is an extremely caring and resilient little girl.
We didn't really know that anything was wrong. A lot of her behaviours were just normal baby and toddler behaviours. She got a post-viral acute cerebellar ataxia, which is swelling of the cerebellum, which displayed symptoms where she had terrible balance and she was tripping over and falling over her own feet.
Unfortunately, this was only the beginning of medical problems for Emily. Undergoing 2 major surgeries meant a lot of time away from home. In hospital, play therapists gave Emily a bowl of beads, and the rest is history.
The nurses came up with the idea that she could have her own jewellery store. So the nurse made up a sign that she could put on the wall of her room about her jewellery store.
And the orders kept coming and still haven't stopped.
Come up with the idea that maybe we could use it as an opportunity to give back for everything that Emily got in the hospital, because the play therapists and the nurses, they're so amazing.
You can place an order for yourself by following Emily's fabulous jewellery store on Facebook. Annabelle Francis, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Well done, Emily. And it was a road trip with a difference for Daniel Ricciardo, visiting our part of the world to promote this weekend's Melbourne Grand Prix. The 8-time Grand Prix winner took to the Aussie Outback in an RB7, traversing through several iconic locations like Broken Hill and Silverton. Ricciardo says there was no better way to celebrate his first Formula One event at home since returning to Oracle Red Bull Racing. Stay with us after the break. We check in with our local sporting products ready for the AFL Showdown in Adelaide. And how's the weekend weather looking? Find out next with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us this Friday night. Well, we're already up to round 3 of the AFL, and this weekend we see the AFL Showdown as the Crows take on Power. Spencer Gulf Products' Connor Rosie and Taylor Walker have been named to play. With both squads reeling from defeats last week, the rivalry is reaching new heights.
It's Showdown 53. Bring on one of the most famous rivalries in the AFL.
This is a genuine sporting rivalry, and there's genuine hatred. I'm not frightened to use the word of hatred because it's a sporting rivalry. This is not a personal thing in any way. I think everyone in this state loves the fact that both teams want to get each other.
Last year, round 3 saw the Crows pit power at full time to win by 4 points. Port were eager to repay the favour, which they did in round 23 with a 56-point thumping. Now we're just one day away from the first clash of the year.
Yeah, we know what showdowns are like. It's probably the biggest rivalry in the AFL, and it's games that you certainly don't want to miss out on.
And both teams are aiming to bounce back following losses.
That rivalry is what sort of lifts everyone for a showdown clash, and I think both teams coming off performances, we were as frustrated and disappointed as what I'm sure Ken and his crew were after last weekend.
There will be a clash of the local boys, with Taylor Walker and Connor Rosie to face each other on the field. Rosie given the all-clear earlier from a concussion last round. Meanwhile, Walker clashed with young gun Josh Rochelle at training this week after the Broken Hill lad ignored a call for a lead at the ball from Rochelle while he was preparing a shot at goal.
Rather that than not talking, yeah, that's a real positive for us. It's a young player challenging them, talking to a senior player and them having a great conversation.
Tickets for the showdown are now officially sold out to the public, with over 50,000 people expected to pack into Adelaide Oval. Bouncedown is at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Good luck to both teams. Either way, the Spencer Golf comes out a winner. Thank you, Daniel. But it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, good evening to you. What can we look forward to this weekend?
Depends what you make of it, Maddie. As the song goes, keep on the sunny side. That'll be easy to do on Sunday. Blue skies are forecast for most places with temperatures in the mid-20s. But as for today, not too much. Partly cloudy conditions across most of the Gulf today. 22 degrees in Whyalla, and it's still all right out there. If you have time, head on down to the Seaview Cafe at the Whyalla Foreshore. The last Foreshore Friday is happening as we speak. Elsewhere, 21 degrees in Port Lincoln today. Port Pirie reached 24. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 22 is the number of the day, recorded in Cooper Pedy, Broken Hill, Whyalla and Kadina. 24 in Port Augusta, 23 in Woodner. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a ridge of high pressure extends over southern parts of the state, with a high pressure system becoming established to the south over the weekend. Meanwhile, a low pressure system will develop southwest of the Bight on Tuesday, then move south on Wednesday. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly swell 15 to 20 knots, seas around 1 metre, and south-southwesterly swell around 1 metre, increasing up to 2 metres. Taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures now, cloudy around Port Lincoln between 13 and 20 degrees, a shower to an 18 in Cleve, down to 14 tonight, partly cloudy around Woodner, 23 degrees there. Whyalla heading for a top of 20 degrees on Saturday. Mostly sunny in Port Augusta, 23. 21 the top in Kadina, down to 10 tonight. Cloud clearing around Port Pirie, set to reach a high of 23 degrees. A mostly sunny top of 19 in Clare. And in Broken Hill, expect temperatures between 11 and 22. Partly cloudy conditions with some light winds around. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Sunday's outlook. Blue skies on the way for the majority of the Spencer Gulf. 25 degrees in Port Augusta, 24 in Port Pirie and Woodner. Kadina sunny and 23. 21 in Broken Hill and Port Lincoln. Moving on to Monday's forecast now. Not as sunny as Sunday, but the mercury will be a little bit higher. Woodner, Port Augusta and Port Pirie set to reach a high of 27 degrees. 29 in Cooper Pedy. Sunny and 25 degrees over the border in the Silver City, Broken Hill. And finally, just when we thought the autumn temperatures were here to stay, we get something like this. 30 degrees in Woodner, Port Augusta and Port Pirie on Tuesday. 27 and sunny in Broken Hill. Port Lincoln will get a break from the clouds as well, heading for a top of 26 degrees. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. I hope you have a great weekend, Maddie. It's back to you.
You too, Alex. Thank you. And that's the local news this Friday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later. But until then, enjoy your evening and your weekend. See you Monday. Good night.